So you remember talking about your FYS in our last video? The professor for that class is actually going to be somebody pretty important as you go through Sarah Lawrence. That professor is going to be a faculty advisor who follows you through all 4 years in college, and we call that person your Don. I've actually got 2 Dons to sit down with me at the TeaHaus for a bit of a tea party so that we can hear a bit more about what it really means to be a Don and to have a Don. So, good morning. Thank you very much for coming to the TeaHaus to talk to me about being Dons today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, thank you.
So just to start out with, can you tell me a little bit about like the department that you work in and who your Donnies are, what class you've been teaching your Donnies?
Sure. I'm Jim Marshall. I'm in the computer science department, and I had my first year studies course last year that I entitled, it's kind of a strange title, Achilles, the Tortoise, and the Mystery of the Undecidable.
My name is Jamee Moudud. I'm in the economics department. My Donnies are now juniors. When I taught them first year studies, it was a course on development studies.
Okay. So just to start out with the basics, can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do as a Don?
A Don plays broadly 2 roles. One is obviously as an academic advisor, and the academic advisement over here is not just routine, but it's also helping the student sort out what it is that they want to do the current year and how that relates to what they want to do in the future, including beyond Sarah Lawrence. I try not to get too personal because you have to maintain a professional boundary, but at the same time, it is a quasi-informal relationship.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I spent a lot of time last year pretty much serving as a sounding board for my Donnies. They were trying to figure out not only what courses they wanted to take each semester, but also the direction of their career, their future life, what their academic goals are going to be while they're here at Sarah Lawrence.
It's not routine, in other words, it's not just like, oh, this is the course, these are the courses you need to take, and so on, as in other places. It's, trying to figure out, the students trying to figure out sometimes their own interests, and then relating those interests to not just this year's courses, but next year's courses, and maybe,
Right, so you can kind of help them develop a framework for how they're approaching the rest of their college career.
Correct, exactly.
So in their first year, they're taking this first year studies class with you.
Right.
And part of having them in this first year studies class is that it allows you to kind of provide that guidance in the classroom as well. You're sort of introducing them to college academics through this class. How exactly are you providing that guidance in that first year studies class?
I think, first of all, you're teaching them how to be scholars. In other words, how to read articles, how to read professional journal articles and books. You're also obviously introducing them to the discipline that you're teaching the first year studies in.
But either way, they then have that academic background to approach whatever field it is that they do go into after that with that same sense of scholarship.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
When I do first year studies, I really try to include at least 2 particular experiences in the fall semester. One is I make them write some kind of a research paper, and then the other experience that I think is really important is to make them get up and do presentations. Just the act of having to get up in front of their peers and talk coherently for 5 or 10 minutes is a very important skill that not all that many students are all that great at when they first come in.
Definitely. That was something that we did a lot of both of those things in my first year studies class, and I think it was really helpful to kind of get us into not just how to do it from the high school perspective that we had been doing it in, but also as a college student newly as well.
That's right, yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming.
All right.
It was really great to talk to you and hear about your perspective on being a Don.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pauline.
Let us know if we get nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
I am planning on holding the Office Oscars this year. So.
Okay, there you go.